Did you attend Rendezvous in the Ozarks this year in 2023? Hi, everybody. I'm Rob, and this is Stormcrow Overland. We talk about going on adventures, road tripping, camping, and just generally getting out and enjoying life. On this week's episode, we're going to kind of do a wrap up of this year, the 2023 Rendezvous in the Ozarks. If you're not sure what this event is, it's put on by Randy from Natural State Overland, and he's got a whole crew that helps him. This event was amazing. Basically, it's held in the Ozarks. It's a big kind of overland get together, like almost convention kind of thing. Uh, but yeah, a lot of people meet up, hang out. There's a vendor area. There's classes. There's guided trail rides. There's kind of like unorganized, just meet up with some people and do trail rides. They had an app, which I didn't even think something like this would have an app, but it was great. It had a map and a schedule and the classes and all that kind of stuff. It had a really neat feature where you could meet up. You could basically like do an impromptu trail ride. You could just like, hey, I'm going to head out and go do a moderate trail, Friday afternoon at 4. Meet me here if you want to go. Thought that was a really neat feature. But so like I said, this is my first time going, so I thought it'd be neat to do kind of a wrap up of what I thought of the event. So the event took place from Thursday till Sunday morning. So it kind of early wraps up in Saturday night, but a lot of people stay till Sunday morning. So Thursday morning, I had my stuff loaded up, got in the car, headed out there. I was in kind of a hurry. A lot of the folks from the OKC area, sorry, I got neighbors driving by. A lot of the folks from the OKC area, we were talking about convoying out there, but I was scheduled to teach a class at 1 at the event, so I needed to leave a little earlier than everyone else did. So I got up nice and early, got on the road, and by the time I got there, it was right around noon. My class was scheduled for 1, so I didn't really have time to even set up camp. I drove to kind of did a lap around the event just to see where everything was. Saw a buddy of mine, Jared from West OK Overland / Sooner State Overland and everything else he does. Saw him, went and kind of parked over by him, said hi real quick, and didn't even have time to set up camp and had to run over and teach class. I taught 2 wilderness first aid classes. I did one on Thursday, another one on Friday. Had a great turnout, had some great people there that had really interesting questions. Had a nice mix of people that had almost no experience doing stuff. I had an EMT in one class. I had someone that worked at the Mayo Clinic in one of the other classes. People that had some military first aid experience. So it was neat to kind of interact with people with varying levels of experience, kind of teach the class. It was mostly just basic level stuff, but kind of got to go into some higher level stuff on a couple of things because people had some really good questions. And then I had some of the first aid gear and stuff. Like I had some of my first aid kits, so people could get hands on and like practice. Like this is how you put on a tourniquet. Here's how you put on a pressure dressing. So they could get some hands on. And that was great. Had a really good time teaching the classes. I'm sure if I go next year, I'm teaching classes again because it's good. It's great to meet some people too, and just kind of help give back to the community. Plus, Randy from Natural State Overland pays you if you teach classes. So that too, it's not a whole lot. What I got from teaching the classes, I spent in the vendor area. That was basically my spending money for buying stuff. There was all kinds of classes though. There was recovery classes. There was overlanding on a budget classes. There was overlanding with a family. The class I was really excited for. There was a Gaia class that I really wanted to go to because I'm more of an Onyx guy. And I started using Onyx because Gaia was, Onyx seemed easier. Gaia was a little intimidating from a first time new beginner kind of person. And I really wanted to go to the class. The guy that was supposed to teach it, he ended up being sick, so they had to cancel. But class, they had 3 different tents with classes in it running the majority of the day, Thursday and Friday. So all kinds of classes. I encourage you to go. Take some. They're free. All you do is show up. You don't even have to sign up. You just literally show up to a tent, and there's someone sitting there sharing knowledge with you. Great time. So by the time that was over, I kind of headed back to where I left my car parked over by Jared. Finally got around, got my camp, got camp set up. I had my Gazelle with me, my Gazelle T3X. Had it set up, obviously. Great tent, love it. I also used, a while back, I got a Slumberjack Roadhouse tarp. I haven't used it a whole lot because it's It's a little bit nice, and there'll be a picture in here. But I had it set up coming out the back of my Forerunner, and then I had the Gazelle set up at the back of it. Man, it was nice. It gave me a nice, like, little nice area between the tent and the rig where I could have almost like a little patio. So I really enjoyed that. Since it was still pretty early, hadn't gotten dark yet or anything, I went ahead, busted out the scuttle. I did take the scuttle for every meal. I didn't take any other cooking thing. I did sandwiches for lunch most days, but for all my breakfast and dinner where I was actually going to be cooking, did everything on the scuttle. I'm still trying to get the hang of it and make sure I've got it figured out. I'm pretty close. I've just about got it. But started making tacos on the scuttle, and then I also made some blue corn tortillas. I brought some blue corn masa from home, so I had my tortilla press out there making tortillas, cooking them on the scuttle. Worked great. Cooking tortillas on the scuttle worked really good. So that was great. Great dinner. After that, it was starting to get dark. It was a little chilly. It was kind of windy. So I went and sat around. Someone had a campfire going. Went and sat around the fire, visited with some folks. It's kind of like I say on a lot of these things. I hung out with some old friends, made some new friends, just shared some stories for a while, and eventually just started getting tired, and it was time to head to bed for that first night. Okay, so Friday morning, I woke up pretty early, probably around 5:30 or 6. Had to go to the bathroom. Got up, went to the porta potty. Quick note, I did take my privacy tent and my little kind of folding camp toilet setup. I didn't need it. I'm glad I took it just in case. They had plenty of porta potties there. They were well taken care of. They were always stocked. I'm a little neurotic and paranoid, so if I'm somewhere like an event like that, if I'm going to a porta potty and I need toilet paper, I always take the toilet paper with me out of my rig. I just assume there's not going to be any. Every time I went, there was plenty of toilet paper in the things. They were clean for porta potties. They were never overflowing or anything. They actually had people out there taking care of them every day. So that was an impressive thing to notice because that's not always the case with porta potties. But went to the porta potty, came back, got back in the tent for a little bit, and as soon as I got back in my tent, it started very, very lightly raining. And it was, like I said, 6 in the morning. It's pretty cool out. Starting to, real light rain. I passed right back out. That rain put me back to sleep, and it was amazing. Got another hour or so of sleep, and then finally woke up hungry. At this point, I was really, really glad that I had set up that roadhouse tarp. It allowed me to get out of the tent and not be wet, open up the back of the Forerunner, not be wet, and then have a nice area to kind of not only hang out in, but cook in, be able to access my rig, be able to access the tent if I needed to. Got the scuttle out, made some bacon, made some pancakes. Pancakes on the scuttle are a little difficult, even on the lowest setting. And I have the original scuttle with the original stove. I know the newer one's supposed to have a little finer adjustment. But even on the lowest setting, it gets a little too hot for pancakes. So what I was having to do was put the pancake on there, like basically cook one side, turn the burner off, flip the pancake, let it sit, and then maybe turn the burner on just a little bit more after it sat for a little bit, just to keep it from getting too hot. Because I like big fluffy pancakes, and it takes a little longer for them to cook in the middle. So yeah, a little finicky adjusting the scuttle, but it worked, and they were amazing. Great pancakes. I forgot to take a picture of them. They were so good, and I was so busy eating them. But after that, man, it was really, really foggy that morning. Not a whole lot going on first thing in the morning. I did have to teach another class at 1, so I had a little bit of time to kill, and I decided to go wander through the vendor area. I'd kind of done this the day before, but some of the vendors were still getting in Thursday and even Friday morning and still getting set up. But I went and wandered through. My favorite booth by far, which should not be a surprise to y'all, was Ozarks Overland. They had, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 easy ups set up, full of gear. So we're talking like 10 by 40. They had a mini store, and a lot of the time that I walked by, Tate was cooking cool stuff. He had this weird, it was a fire pit with a grate over it, and he was like cooking fish out there over the things, grilling fish. Really neat deal. And later, I think it was on Saturday, Ozarks Overland and / Overland Spices or one or the other. It gets a little complicated because they're kind of involved. But it was Overland Spices. They actually hosted a cooking competition. They did a breakfast one, a lunch one, a breakfast, dinner, and chili, and then a kid's best grilled cheese. That was really neat. That was, from what I hear, I didn't enter. I'm saying right here, if I go next year to Rendezvous, the Ozarks, and they have it, or the next event I go to at Overland Spices is doing cooking competition, I'm entering. So those of y'all that are usually winning, watch out. I got plans. Uh, but yeah, so with that, I got to talk to the other guys from Smoky Overland. Tate, I think it's Kyle. I forget. They're great guys. I'd gotten the snorkel from Tate. He's also got a 4th Gen 4Runner. He was talking to him. He either has one in a box still or is getting ready to order one and just hadn't done the install yet. So he was asking if there was any tips I had or anything like that. So it was great. Even just informally wandering around, running into people, chances to share information, chances to get information. But lots of other great booths there. There was, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of overland gear. Pruitt Knives of Valor was there selling their knives, and those are so cool. There was inflatable paddleboard places. Greenfin, I think, they had a really neat look. I originally thought inflatable paddleboards were silly. I thought they were going to be kids' toys till my wife got one like a year or two ago. And they're way cooler than I thought, and they work way better than I thought for being inflatable. But Toys for Trucks was there. I can't think of all the vendors, but there's tons of them. Nice area. I'll have a picture here of the whole vendor area. I was told it was set up different than it was in the years before, and everybody I talked to seemed to like this setup better. So that's something. Like I said, I don't have any way to compare it. So after that, went and ran back real quick, made a sandwich, and then got ready to teach my class again. Like I said, same thing. Great people, great questions. Got to interact with some folks, try to teach a little bit. Hopefully they all gained something from it. And then, sorry, my nose is killing me. After that, me and some of the other OKC folks went on a trail ride. It was 2 Jeeps, a Tacoma, and me. I was in the back. Went on this really cool trail. The trail was cool. We started, it wasn't anything real fancy to start with. We were just on a Forest Service road, but we were so foggy. It just looked really cool. You couldn't see, like we're going up a mountain and you look off the side and you can't see anything. It's just some trees and then white. Kept going up. Eventually this particular forest road took us to a cemetery. It was neat. We stopped to look at the cemetery real quick. And then we kept going down this trail. And this trail kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. There was one part that we weren't even sure where the trail, the trail made like a hard 90-degree turn to the right, and we were still sitting there looking, going, where did the trail go? With this trail being kind of tight, we actually ended up with, we did have some minor trail damage. My buddy, his Tacoma, he had a stick that went just right and busted his headlight and a little part of the balance or whatever just under the headlight. And then I lost my antenna. A branch must have grabbed it and it just broke it right off. There were several places I was worried about my snorkel where a branch kind of got up under the actual turn at the top of the snorkel. And I was worried about it getting ripped off. Did happen to one of the Jeeps. The top of their snorkel did get ripped off and he had to stop and go and chase it downhill. But luckily he was able to get it and put it back on real quick. No big deal. But great trail ride. Had a really good time. Got back, starting to get a little late. We all kind of wanted to get to the Budget Overland hangout that they were going to be doing. Benji from Budget Overland was going to have a little kind of hangout deal by the main stage. Had a lot of prizes to give away. So we got back. I went ahead and made a burger real quick. Great. Seasoned it up with the triple locked from Overland Spices. And then kind of all grabbed our chairs and headed over to the Budget Overland thing. It was kind of neat. I love Budget Overland. It's a great podcast. Benji seems like a great guy. I haven't really interacted with him a whole lot, but I'm not trying to give him a hard time, but it seemed like having to announce and talk in front of that many people might have been a little more than he was expecting. He was kind of getting a little nervous, it seemed like. It's different talking to a camera or a microphone and then all of a sudden trying to talk to 300 people. They're all staring at you. So that's just a little bit different. But other than that, went back. It was pretty cold. I turned in pretty early and went and got some more sleep after that. And no, me and none of my buddies want anything at the Budget Overland thing. So finally, we're on to Saturday. This ends up being the last day for me. My wife was not feeling good. She actually was home with bronchitis. And then my kid had a dance thing like 2 hours away from home Sunday. So I really didn't want my wife having to do all that by herself, just for me to sleep in my tent one more night, get up in the morning, pack up, and drive home, and then them having to drive all over. So I ended up leaving Saturday night, but we'll get to that in a second. So I get up. Uh, I enjoyed my pancakes on the Scottle so much the day before, decided to do it again. Made pancakes and bacon. Uh, Once again, very delicious. Uh, Not a whole lot going on. I didn't have to teach a class or anything, so it was nice. I went and made one more loop through the vendor area. Um, just bought some random stuff. Bought a patch here. I bought a koozie somewhere else. I bought from Ozarks Overland. I think it was MSR brand. Might have been GSI. It's one of the big camping stuff companies. It's a little scraper. It's just like that big. It's like $5. It's like about the size of a credit card almost. It's got a stiff side and a soft side, but it's a scraper, and it will be perfect for helping clean the Scottle. Just kind of scrape without like messing up the seasoning and all that. I used to have something like that from Pampered Chef at the house that we would use to clean cast iron. If something got burnt on, it was stubborn. It was nice to be able to scrape it off with something real quick. So same thing for the Scottle. Real happy to get that. Um, but like I said, not a whole lot going on. So me and some of the Oklahoma folks decided to go on trail ride again. Kind of the same crew. It was the 2 Jeeps. Someone else showed up, so we ended up having the 2 Jeeps, 2 Tacomas, and then me and the 4Runner in the back again. We purposely did not want to have a repeat of the day before, where the trail got so tight and we had some damage and stuff. We just kind of wanted to get out and enjoy the day. So someone had some trails they'd marked before from a previous rendezvous, and so we followed those. It's a real nice trail. It's gorgeous scenery. Nothing real crazy. We elected at the beginning to not air down. None of us did. We just were like, we'll be fine. And this trail I keep saying trail, it's a forest road. It did get pretty rocky, real bumpy. So about halfway through, we stopped and we all decided to air down real quick. Should have just done it in the first place. I'm horrible about that, about not just airing down when I know I should air down. But we all aired down, finished the trail. Just a couple of hours out driving through the woods. Just nice, relaxing. No damage this time, thank goodness. I really need one of those stickers for my dash that says, "Remember, stupid, you have to drive this home." Sometimes I want to do stuff that I shouldn't be doing. But went back after that. We got back to Mulberry Mountain. Oh, we did stop on the way back. We stopped at Ozarks Cafe. I think it's supposed to be the oldest general store in Arkansas. It's still open. Neat place. You see it in a lot of videos. See pictures of it on Instagram and stuff. There was an amazingly cool Pinsgauer in the parking lot. I love Pinsgauers. I would love to have one day. Yeah, we went into the store to see if maybe get a burger or sticker or patches, but there was at least 30 people in line to check out, and that was to order food or buy stuff like patches or stickers. We elected to not wait around. We decided to go ahead and head back, but we did, did look around real quick, take a picture. Headed back to Mulberry Mountain. Since I knew that I was going to be, getting ready to leave that night, I went ahead and made another sandwich and then started packing up. It's kind of sad. I didn't want to pack up. I really wanted. I'd have been happy to stay another 3 or 4 days, but got all the stuff packed up, grabbed a chair, and then headed over. And this is kind of the highlight for most people of Rendezvous in the Ozarks. They do an amazing giveaway. They give away fridges, like nice Dometic fridges, Warren winches, super winch, a full set. When I mean full set, I mean 5 of Milestar tires, just all kinds, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of prizes. The giveaway took almost 2 hours, I think. It was over an hour and a half for sure of just them calling numbers and giving out prizes, tossing shirts and hats and stuff out to people. Really good time. And at that point, when that was over, I headed home. Needed to get home. I ended up getting home pretty late. Didn't even have time to unpack my rig until the next day, and then had to go be dance dad. But man, did I have a great time. I got to learn things, got to hang out with old friends, got to make new friends. I got to meet some people that watch the channel. It was the neatest thing. I don't know if you saw it or not, but prior to Rendezvous, I did a kind of a funny weather forecast video where I did like the forecast for Rito, and I dressed up kind of funny like a weather forecaster, even though I am a weather forecaster. I don't know. I guess I was cosplaying as myself. But I did a little quick weather Rito forecast. And when I was checking in when I first got there, the couple right in front of me, I was talking to them a little bit. We were talking about rigs and stuff. And the wife just looked over and she goes, "I saw your video on the way here." And that was the coolest thing in the world. I just thought it was so cool. But had an amazing time. If you get a chance to go on these things, go. Even if you're like me, where you usually go camping to get away from people, it's nice to go and hang out with people too, especially a lot of like-minded people. For rough guess, I haven't heard actual numbers. There's probably at least 500 people there. I didn't see one piece of trash on the ground. Like I said, the porta potties were all in good shape for porta potties. Everything was amazingly nice. Like I said, a lot of like-minded individuals, a lot of tread lightly stuff getting preached while we were out there. It's a great time. You should go. If I can next year, I'm gonna go. And in fact, I had such a great time that this has encouraged me to go to more events like this in the future. I've been kind of hesitant before, so hang on one second. So, like I said, if you can go to one of these events or something like this, whatever's in your area. If you're not in the central part of the country and getting to the Ozarks for Rendezvous, the Ozarks is not in the cards for you, cool. Overland Expos all over the country. I want to get to some of those. Maybe I want to go. Maybe I'll go to more next year. Hang on. Well, that's really all I have for you this week. Like I said, great event. Thanks to Natural State Overland and Randy for organizing this. And in fact, it's official now because I put the Rendezvous in the Ozark 2023 sticker on my rig. That's how you know it's really official, or at least Overland official, I guess. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, just realize we also release the audio as a podcast. You can find it wherever good podcasts are found. Just search Stormcrow Overland. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we also release the video on YouTube. Just search Stormcrow Overland. You can also find us on Instagram at Stormcrow Overland. And finally, you can reach me on email at stormcrowoverland@gmail.com. On any of those platforms, I would really appreciate a like, comment, follow, subscribe, any of that stuff. Send me a message. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Any of that kind of stuff. I got thick skin. You're not going to bother me. Like I said, it was really great meeting a handful of people at Rendezvous that have actually watched the channel and stuff. That was cool. Yeah, I got to hand out some stickers and stuff. But yeah, sometimes you have to go out and get lost at a cool overland rally before you can find yourself. Thanks for watching.